technical side of things, and we'll point you in the right direction if I miss it. Okie dokie. Right, let's get started. You've had enough of looking at me. Right, so here we are. We are in the High Street in Dunfermline, and this is the Mercat Cross. Mercat Cross, Market Cross. And this was Dunfermline's main meeting point. You've got to imagine the days before we had newspapers and television and the internet, official proclamations would actually be made here, and the person doing it would stand at the top of the stone plinth, so he's above the crowd. Now the cross has been moved several times. Parts of it date to 1626, and as we see it today, it was re-erected here in 1868. Now the Mercat Cross was first mentioned in historical records back in the 1300s, and we're in at the High Street. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom in so that you can see. It's such a dull day. If I come like that, is that better? So we've got a unicorn up here. It's holding the saltire. Underneath it you can see the coat of arms of Dunfermline and the lion rampant there as well. I'm just going to move around slightly so you can see this side. Unicorns in Scotland are the armorial bearer. In England it's a lion. Now unicorns are real, they're just very small and invisible. Okay, and yes, it is raining. Now I'm just going to quickly let you see this so you can take a quick wee screenshot, just so you remember when we're going round. So that's one of these lovely little blue plaques they've got. Okay, right, so we're in the High Street, just trying to get off the step now. Right, the High Street's pedestrianised now in Dunfermline. Oops, it's so wet. Right, now Dunfermline, the old grey town, it was a former royal borough, and it was once capital of Scotland. The capital of Scotland's moved around quite a bit over history. Now it's 3 miles from the northern shore of the Firth of Forth, so it's in quite a good location. Population wise, we're looking at about 50,000. First recorded population is Neolithic. There was a Neolithic settlement here, and we've got evidence of stone axes and flint arrowheads. Now the first written record is in the 11th century, and that is when the marriage of Malcolm III, Malcolm Canmore, and Saint Margaret, Queen Margaret, took place. Queen Margaret, I'll mention her quite a lot. She died in 1093 and she was canonised around 1250. Now Margaret actually established a new church, the Holy Trinity, which later evolved into the Abbey under David I, her son David I. Portugal is so hot. It's not actually a kind of wintry feeling, to be fair, although we are going into autumn by the feel of it. But yeah, it is. It's definitely the weather's changing. Now the town is the major service centre for the west of Fife. The largest employers here are Sky UK, I think, and Amazon. There's a massive Amazon warehouse near here. Now, just as I come down here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an Adam shot for y'all. So everyone close your eyes. Gimbal's just died on me again because it's raining. Hold on, we'll get her back. She's such a grumpy thing. Right, there we go. There's the Adam shot. Open your eyes. There you can take the picture. Right, I'm just going to put it back now once that van's out the way so you can get a nice picture. 3, 2, 1, and I'm putting it back. So that's it back to horizontal. Sorry. Yeah, it's a bit difficult because the town hall's really big. Anyway, right. So the Dunfermline coat of arms, which we saw on the Mercat Cross, and I'll show you another example in a wee minute, is basically Dunfermline was created a royal borough between 1124 and 27, thereabouts, and the coat of arms is based on the old borough seal, but we only have physical seals or impressions that date to the 18th century. Now, the Tower of Malcolm's, the tower on the coat of arms is Malcolm's Tower, and you can see remains of that in Pittencrieff Glen, which is, you can actually go in through the end here, there's gates, or you can go down by the Abbey and get into it as well. There is a Latin motto on the coat of arms, and it translates, "May the rock be inaccessible." There you go. Right, so I'll just show you up here. That is the coat of arms. Let's get that out of the way. It's quite a nice one. You will see other images of this. 2 seconds. Come on, Gimbal, you know you want to. Right. There. You can see the tower on the rocks with the motto and the lions. Okay, now I'm going to bring you back down because I'm going to move you around and I don't want you getting seasick on me. Right. Up here, at the top, we have King Robert the Bruce and his wife. Actually, I think that might be Malcolm Canmore and St Margaret. And then on the other side, you have Robert the Bruce and his wife. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see that there. And then I'll bring you around so you can see the other one. There. Okay. Right, now I'm bringing it back down. My God, it's wet. Right. Oh, the joys of Scottish weather. Now, the City Chambers, which we're looking at, the City Chambers has some amazing carving on it. It sits on the corner of Bridge Street and Kirkgate, which I'll show you in a sec. And it serves as, look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Try and get that for a postcard. Can you see the dragons? It basically serves as a local committee for the council. It's category A listed. There's an octagonal turret, which I'll show you from a distance. Well, we kind of saw parts of it from the distance. And the four-sided clock as well. And there's lots of heraldic stones around this. And some of them were actually taken from the townhouse that stood on the site that this replaced. The townhouse was completed in, I think it was 1771. But the town, look at these flowers, are they not gorgeous? That's the joy of weather like ours. Rains constantly, so we get these beautiful flowers. Right, now, let me just see. I've got a little picture of the inside. 2 seconds. There. So that's the inside. There's a beautiful hammer beam ceiling inside. But I wanted to show you some of the detail here. There used to be prison cells in the basement as well. Oh, it's too wet. Hold on. Look at the detail on it though. Is that not amazing? Hamish Macbeth. Oh, I loved Hamish Macbeth. I actually did a Hamish Macbeth tour once. It was brilliant. If you've never watched Hamish Macbeth, it's got a wee couple of risky bits in it, but very much Scottish humour. So yeah. Protect that gimbal. I know. She's so temperamental, it's crazy. Right, now, I'm just going to show you one more of the carvings. Here. That's kind of, oh, it's raining. What do you think? Right, and then there's a cross. I'm going to cross over, hopefully not get run down by this car. And then you can see arms again that's been saved from the previous building. You know what? If we stayed, we never did tours when it rained here. We'd never do tours full stop, you know. Right, now I'm going to tease you with the Abbey, which is just ahead of us here. I'm just going to give you a little tease of that, but we're not actually going to talk about it yet. Right, oops, sorry, gimbal slipped down on me. I just want to show you the octagonal turret that we've got going on up here. Hopefully you can see it. There you go. And then that's the clock tower just peeking round there. I bought Hamish Macbeth, the box set, on Amazon for £9, I think it was. Beautiful little garden here, just a nice little place to relax. Right. Now, Dunfermline was established as the new seat of royal power in the mid-11th century by Malcolm III. Sorry, I'm not laughing at that, it's just there's drops of water coming off gimbal. Yeah, by Malcolm III. And by it basically initiated changes which eventually made Dunfermline a sort of de facto capital of Scotland for much of the period until the assassination of James I. So if you've been on my Darker Side Part 2 tour, you'll have heard about the assassination of James I in 1437. Now, following her marriage, Queen Margaret encouraged her husband to convert a small Culdee chapel into a church for the Benedictine monks, and Benedictine monks were known as Grey Friars. Right. Oh, you have to bear with me a second. I'm just going to show you this. Oh, I don't know how to... Right. This is really awkward because of the size of it. Here we go. This is the Henryson Gate. And it's got lots of... Wait, I'll bring you in and let you see the detail. Unicorns, those leopards, horses, is that, I'm not sure what that is, foxes and lambs, and then you've got a monkey with a noose, and look at this, I love this. So I'm going to show you the two hinges. So here's the first hinge. You've got the devil. Okay, now wait till you see the other hinge. It's the angel. Isn't that fantastic? Right, I'm just going to take you over and have a look at this. Margaret, mother of William Wallace, lies buried beneath a thorn tree in the grounds of Dunfermline Abbey. So I'll just let you take a wee picture of that if you want to. Now, the Henderson Gates, these are a tribute to the most famous poet and scholar, Robert Henderson, and they feature the animals that featured in his fables. Henderson is also believed to have been a schoolmaster in Dunfermline. Following his studies, he studied in Glasgow and in Paris. And there's actually a collection of his work which is held in the library ahead of us. Now, Abbey House. Oh, that's brilliant, Monique. Abbey House, I will try and show you it from a distance. But this is a 60, in fact, I'll cross the road. I'm just going to cross the road, see if I can get a better view, or at least some of the size of it. The pink house. So this is a Grade A listed building and it dates to at least the 16th century. It's situated in Dunfermline's heritage quarter and is the oldest secular building in Dunfermline, surviving the Great Fire of 1624. It's been undergoing a lot of renovation that's been ongoing for quite some time. The earliest phase of building here was actually a two-storey sort of rectangular block built into the existing precinct wall. There's a fresco inside which dates to 1571, and the principal room on the first floor has a 14th century tracery window. How come there was no traffic and now when I want to cross the road I can't? Oh, it's just my luck. We're just going to get wet, people. I'm trying to show you the... oh, there we go. There's an inscription just above the door here. Okay, I don't know if it's better like that. I'll come round, just trying to get the colour of the building in here. Now it says Sen Word is Thrall and Thoch is free. Veil thy tongue, I counsel thee. Translation: since words are entertainment and thought is freedom, keep well your tongue, I counsel you. Think before you speak, I think is where we're going with that. Oh, look at the flowers. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but they've got these lovely kind of raindrops on them. It's gorgeous. Right, hi everyone that's just joining. We're in a very wet and soggy Dunfermline. Now, Abbey House Garden, we're just going to go around and see it. There's a lovely gift shop in here as well, just through here. That's shut now, but there's a gift shop just on the ground floor here. And you can see where the old doors have been. Things changed. This is the library I was telling you about. It's got this beautiful library. It's a Carnegie Trust library. And this is just taking us into the grounds. And from here you get quite a nice view of the Abbey. So the gardens are planted with plants that would have been used in the 17th century. Quince, lavender, sage, rosemary, and the remains. And this is basically just reminding us of its history. Oh, right, well, I'm doing I think it's the 1st of September, doing a Plan Your Perfect trip to Scotland. So if you've got any questions, just join in there and we can have a little chat. Now the gate appears to be shut, but anyway, I just wanted to show you this unicorn. It's gorgeous. It's got the unicorn here. Right. Let me see, is the gate open? No, the gate's shut. Oh, it's not fair. Anyway, well, there's a couple of things in here I can't show you, but hopefully they will be open at some point soon. Okay, so this is the back of the house. Now, in the 1600s, there was a lady who called Lady Anne Hackett, who resided here. So that's in the 1600s, and she was actually a practicing herbal apothecary and midwife, and she had people flocking from near and far to come and get her cures. Now, at the time, to be a woman and be a midwife and know herbal remedies at this point in time was not the safest occupation, because of the witch problems we had. But she was a lady, so she was probably well protected. So we've got these two seated gentlemen. I honestly don't know what that colour is called. I'm trying to think. It may well be on the website for the building what colour it is. But yeah, Historic Scotland, they do stuff as well. So there might be something in their records, or even Canmore. Canmore might have something about the colour as well. Always a witch problem, I know. This, I believe, I could be wrong because I always forget. I think it's Johnny Suter and Tam O'Shanter. Margaret had several sons. David I is the one I usually talk about. So as we come round here, he built a lot of the border abbeys. Yeah, so he's usually the one I mention, just because there's lots of things to see. Now, unfortunately, we can't see it, but there's a beautiful little well in the garden that we couldn't get in, and that is built onto the graveyard wall, and it's by the artist John Duncan for Sir Patrick Geddes. And if you've been on any of my Edinburgh tours, you will have heard me talk about Patrick Geddes. Yeah. And then we've got another beautiful piece of ironwork here. Isn't that lovely? Right, and you can see the splayed fruit trees. They actually have apples on them at the moment. I'll just let you have a little look up. You can see the apples. See, that's the advantage to living in a wet country. Plenty of water, and the rowan berries are looking particularly plump. Right. Oh, dearie me. There is also a sundial that I couldn't show you, but if you get the chance, it's worth having a walk around, because no doubt at some point the gardens will be open, unless they shut at 4, but I know the other one was open till 5, so maybe it shuts at 4. And there we can see the council buildings from the distance here, and this is the burial ground for the Abbey. Now, Dunfermline Abbey in ruins are all that remains basically of the Benedictine Abbey, which was founded by St Margaret. The foundations of our church are actually underneath the nave, or the old church, and this was built in the 12th century, the church, and it was kind of Romanesque style. We may well have just had our anniversary, have we? I don't know, I'd have to Google what that's about. Oh no, this is Ukraine sunflowers, that's what this is. Isn't that beautiful? Now, so her son David I built the first church. Well, built that church, which is then underneath the present building. Now, underneath the pulpit, at this end, the more modern part, is actually where Robert the Bruce's body is. And there's a lovely brass-covered plate that kind of marks the spot. Now, that's what it looks like inside. Did that go in? Okay. Now, if you click on the pictures, it will actually expand for you, so you can see that. Yeah, it's the Ukrainian one. Now, there is also another picture I'm just going to show you, because when they did archaeology here in the Victorian period, they were slightly less squeamish, or, I don't know, reputable maybe. So this is actually a cast of his skull, and his front teeth are missing. When his skull was excavated, his front teeth were there, but between being cast and brought back to the church to be reinterred, the skull had lost its front teeth, which is not ideal. Now, outside, so we're at the East Gable, and this is the shrine of St Margaret, the place of pilgrimage. In the medieval period, this was a very significant place for people coming on pilgrimage. Now, after the Reformation, the Abbey nave continued to be used as a church. I'm just going to go in and show you some of the detail that's still left here, and I'm going to show you the board over there because it gives you an artist's impression of what it looks like. So around about 1250, St Margaret's remains were actually moved to an elaborate shrine, which has long since been dismantled. In the 19th century, the parish church now stands on the site of the choir and the presbytery, and after the Reformation, a new palace was created out of the guest house and the guest house was it the north? No, it was the west range, I think. The west range of the Abbey. Now, as we look at this, we're looking at piers, or the bottom stone that would have had pillars on top. So as we come along, we've got this lovely little seat, and it's very detailed still. You can see sort of the, I don't know, egg shapes. What would you call that? And then you can see the base where you would have had a column on top. So we still have a lot of detail here. And here we can see a little basin for holding water. And then the detail again on this little corner here. So this is kind of where the shrine would have been, now outside the church. But I'll just take you over here. This is an artist's impression of what it looked like in its day. Hopefully you can see that. So she died in Edinburgh Castle in 1093 after learning about Malcolm's death. She was then brought from Edinburgh Castle through the Sally Port, through the Dean Village, and then across to Dunfermline. Right. So I'm just going to take us round. It's so wet. Now, Dunfermline Palace actually became the personal residence of James VI and his Queen Anne of Denmark. Parts of the Abbey are still shut. I'm going to take you over to the corner here so you can get a view into the parts that are closed. And I'll show you a map as well, which is just at the far end here. So, yeah, I'll just take you down. So all the ruined part is still closed as far as I'm aware because of the risk of loose masonry. So Historic Scotland are going around every property and inspecting each property sort of by hand, which is, I imagine, a painstaking job. Right, now hopefully we're going to get a decent view. Not really. Just wanted to bring you over so you can see the Forth, but we're not going to see it from here. It's too cloudy. Yeah, it's too cloudy. So we've got this beautiful war memorial just below us here, and then in the distance you could see the bridges, but we can't see them because you can see how low the cloud is. Then we've got some of the ruin here. I'm just going to take us along. So as we look at the Abbey, this is the oldest part of the current building here. Okay, that's us telling it's past. Now, as we come round, I wish I could do widescreen for you, but I can't. This is the more modern part, so the Victorian part. Okay, and it says on the tower, the steeple, King Robert the Bruce. So we've kind of seen this from all kind of angles. I've taken you around all the sides of it, and I'm just going to. So you've got the precinct down here. You can see the entrance. To the left of that's parts of ruins of the Abbey, which was then turned into the palace. Isn't that beautiful? Just the size. And you can see we're kind of going... Abbeys and they're never all built in one period. They kind of go through phases. It takes several years to build them. So you get like the arch that then turns into the point as fashions change. Right, I'm just going to take you around and show you this bit. So, oh, I'm getting so wet. Whose idea was this? Right. Oh my goodness. Wait a second. Right, sorry. There we are. So you've got this beautiful, you can see the tracery of the window there. And you can see you would have had several floors here. And you can see where the pillars would have been holding up the roof. You've got the Abbey, and then when it stopped being used as an abbey, the guest house of the Abbey was then turned into a palace for King James VI. It's difficult to show you how big this is, but what I'm going to do is show you a map, which will hopefully put it into perspective, because where we're walking, we're kind of, we're in the grounds of, we would have been surrounded, practically a swimming pool, I know. So, yeah. What can I say? Now, if you do come and visit just where these people are going, that's where you go in. There's a lovely little museum, and it's where you get your tickets and things. But hopefully by the time you get here, it will be, the rain's getting heavier, it will be more accessible. Right, so here we are. Oh, gimbal, no, gimbal, stay. There we are, so you can kind of see the shape now. So what we've been looking at, and then if you look at the smaller drawing, you can see the sort of quad and everything. So there's quite a bit missing. And if you look here, where that intact part is, remember I said that's the precinct down there, we look down at an archway, is there, which is now, on this part here, a ruin, but I'm just going to try not to fall, slip it around. Now here, we're looking down at what was the guest house that later became the palace. Windows extended, etc. Actually, if you just bear with me a second, I'm going to try, and it doesn't always work when you're wet, but I'm going to try. Now, which one of these looks like the best option? That one there. Okay. Right. Now, if you look at the window in the middle of the screen, look sort of about where the lamppost is, and I'm going to bring my finger in. Where's my finger? My finger's here. Oh, don't focus on the finger. See this part here? Right, you see, and that is on the other side. Now, if you look here, what they've done is they've expanded that shape of a window to that to make it the palace. So this is part of the grandifying of the building. Okay, so that's what's happened with those windows there. And there's another story above as well. In fact, we can actually from here, I'll just zoom in. That is a fireplace. So yeah, so you've got heat and things up there. Plus there's a basement and things to this as well. So this site is absolutely enormous. When you walk around here, it's easy to think it's two separate parts, but this was all one site. It was all one thing. Now, I have gone over time, sorry for everybody who's got other tours to do, but I just want to quickly take you round and show you the front. The front door if I can. And here you've got the flying buttresses holding up. And you can see the round doors, the sort of Romanesque shape of the doors there. And then here, this door is absolutely stunning. I will zoom in on it because it's really easy to... You've got to remember, this is hundreds and hundreds of years old. So it's a bit worn. But that chevroning, you can see, that's typical of a Romanesque doorway. Then next to it, you've got flowers. Underneath, it's difficult to tell what that is. Bit more detail. And then as we look up, you can see more of the chevrons, the flowers. And then if we look right up, do you see the faces? Can you see them? They have these 3 faces looking down on us. Actually 4. There's 4 of them. It's amazing. And that's why I always say to people, look up. Remember to look up. Because the amount of detail that you miss when you don't is incredible. Right. Oh, there we go. Now I'm just going to zoom back out there so I can turn. And I'm just going to take us up to the corner here for anybody that didn't catch it. I'm just going to take us round, show you a little bit more there. Let's see, you can see that when you look here, you can tell the difference between the 2 stoneworks. And that says Bruce. So, and then we have this lovely, oh, it's still shut. Sorry, I wanted to show you inside here, but it's still closed. They're still doing work with it. Anyway, so yes. Right, any questions before I let you go? You all okay? Thank you everybody that left a tip, I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone that came along. I will have a look and see about the Stirling tour, if it's got limited numbers or if maybe there's a wee glitch. So yes, thank you everyone. Now I'm just going to quickly show you there, the detail here, the angel and the face. It's quite badly worn, okay? We can't really make out the writing, but luckily here we've got David Ferguson, the first Protestant minister of Dunfermline, died the 23rd of April 1598 at the age of 65. And in the 38th year of his ministry. There you go. So yes, well hopefully I'll see some of you at Stirling. I can't guarantee it's not going to be wet and horrible there too, but you know, it's all part of the fun. Oh, thank you. See you at Stirling. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now remember, if you enjoy my tours, follow me. And, you know, don't let any negativity that's going on just now in the Facebook group, just ignore it, you know. Yeah, just keep following, keep doing what you do, and we'll all get along. Right. Oh, thank you for that, Monique. Right, I'm going to let you go because I'm going to have to let Gimbal dry out before Stirling. Fingers crossed she's not falling out with us. Right, bye. 152. Oh, wow. See, it's... Oh, right enough. There's a wee... See, I'm too busy looking at everything else. You've probably noticed. 181 postcards. Wow. Yeah, well, I'm going to try and do this again when it's not raining, but I honestly, when I put it on, I thought it was going to be nice-ish weather. I thought it might be a bit cold, but it should be okay. Right, okay. If everyone gives me about half an hour, I'm going to go in and I'm going to try and fix that problem. And if I can't fix it, I will message HeyGo and ask them to fix it so that people can get onto the tour tonight. Because it's not till 8 o'clock, so we've got 3.5 hours before then. Okay, thank you, everyone. 27 degrees in Sweden. Oh, still a wee bit hot for me. Right, bye, everybody.